welcome back to Read Becca. We're getting caught up on the tag backlog. It's been months, but I was tagged in this several months ago by the Booklectic, who I will link down below, and she is a great fellow wide-reading booktuber who I believe is also in the Midwest, as I am. So I will link her channel down below. Definitely go check her out. This was also created by Maza Booktuber, who I will also link down below. And this is the 25 questions book tag. I usually like the short and sweet tags. This one is a little long, but we're gonna rapid fire it. We're gonna get through this. So question number 1 is, what's your channel about? It's about books. I feel like that's pretty inferred, but I also like to share, a little bit of my life. I like to do chatty videos because I'm very invasive, and so this question is good, or this tag is good for me because I like the nosy kind of tags. So number 2 is, how old are you? I'm 38, and people seem to have trouble pinning down my age because I think I sometimes act younger. I wear still like graphic t-shirts. I'm very casual. I still like to have fun. I have not transitioned into being an adult, a grown-up at this point. So yeah, people often pin me down as being either like 10 years younger than I am or like 5 years older. So I'm an enigma. Number 3 is, what's your relationship status? Is independent a relationship status? I would say I am single, but even when I am in like a more monogamous relationship, it's very much, I like to have a person that I go on adventures with, and that's about it. Number 4 is, did you go to college/occupation? Yes, I did go to college/occupation. Yeah, I went to college. I have a bachelor's in science and computer information systems. And my job is kind of weird. I've talked about it before as like, I'm sort of a technology firefighter. Basically, it's my job to be an expert on a whole lot of stuff, and people call me when it's really broken and they need somebody to jump in and figure out what the heck is going on and how to make it work. Where are you from/live? I mentioned this earlier. I'm from the Midwestern United States. Number 6, looking back, what would you have told your 10-year-old self? I don't really know. I probably would have told myself to care less. I think that's like the best advice you can give a person who is young and over anxious or really stresses about the pressures of the world or peer pressure, anything to do with social expectations. I think at 10, I definitely was probably feeling that. So I think, yeah, I would tell myself to care less. Tell us about your family is number 7. So I don't know what you want to know. I come from a family of, my 2 parents are divorced, and I have 3 siblings, an older brother and 2 much younger siblings, a younger brother and a younger sister. Basically was like me and my brother 2 years apart, and then 10 years, and then my younger siblings. What's your favorite holiday? That is a kind of tough one. I'm not a fan of holidays. I would say New Year's Eve probably is the only one that I really celebrate, which is probably weird. I think most people don't care about New Year's Eve. I don't have a good like rational reason for why I like it. I think my subconscious reason for liking it, that like my self-analysis of this, is that it was one that was not really stressful for me growing up. It was not something that was a big deal. It was a very casual holiday, as for most people it is. But it always had kind of a ritual to it, because my family would go rent movies. If you remember renting videos at your local rental place. We didn't have a Blockbuster in my town. I grew up in a very small town, but we did have a video rental license. We would rent some movies, and we would get like all of the makings for hoagie sandwiches, like the submarine type sandwiches. And so that was a big deal. We didn't normally get like the fancy deli meat stuff and like cheeses. We got all the really nice higher quality stuff rather than the pre-packaged stuff. So we'd go get it fresh cut and then have snacks and chips and all of that. And so it was just a smorgasbord kind of layout, and very calm and relaxed. And so over the years, as I got to probably my teens, We still continued kind of doing that, but basically everybody would be asleep by the time midnight rolled around for the new year. And I got to stay up and watch Cirque du Soleil, because I think it was maybe Bravo or A&E would just marathon Cirque du Soleil. So I would be by myself, staying up watching Cirque du Soleil with a hoagie sandwich in one hand until midnight. And it was just a really enjoyable holiday for me, I would say. So just very relaxed and also solitary. And I obviously enjoy solitary time. I'm a big reader. So yeah, I think that's why I like it so much. Number 9, you have no budget. What is your dream vacation? Honestly, I would like to travel the world. There's so many continents I haven't even been to. I've been mostly to Europe. I've driven across the US. I would love to see more of Canada. I've pretty much only been to Victoria and Vancouver Island and Vancouver, BC, and I think that's it in Canada. So I would love to see a lot more of Canada. But I mean, South America, I've never been to South America. I have been to the Dominican Republic, and it's just beautiful there. So I love islands in general. So I would love to go island hopping. Like, yeah, I love traveling, and so I would pretty much go anywhere. But yeah, if I could get a like an Amazing Race style trip around the world, I would be all over it. Number 10, name your biggest pet peeve. People who are unempathetic, I think is probably it. Like, we've got the trend of Karens, who go around attacking people for giving them what they perceive as poor service, or just, it's just irrational stuff. And that probably goes beyond a pet peeve, but I can't think of any bookish pet peeves. I'm not very, very solid on unilaterally hating a thing. Like, there's contexts where almost anything works for me. So yeah, I don't have a better answer for that one. What book changed your life is number 11. I don't think any individual books have changed my life. Probably just the aspect of being a reader has been so formative to me that it's integral to who I am. So books as a whole are completely tied into my identity. So yeah, books just in general, I think. Number 12 is what simple invention improved the world? Probably the microscope, I would say. I think that has been fundamental to the modern world existing, because that really, like, we had the scientific method, but that has shaped so much about what we know about the world. 13 is favorite movie or TV show. I have lots of movies I've seen a million times. In college, we probably rented and watched every Adam Sandler movie over and over and over. Happy Gilmore. I would say Mystery Men, if you know that one. It is so cheesy and smart as well. It's this great, like, superhero movie that's very subversive and poking fun at the superhero genre. And yeah, it's great. It has a wonderful cast. So yeah, I think that one is very, very, smart and cheesy. It's my whole vibe, I would say. So that's a good one for movie. For show, that's really hard because I don't remember a lot of the shows growing up for myself. And we had Canadian TV when I was growing up, so some of the shows were kind of obscure. I would say there was this point where anime started airing on Cartoon Network, I think, for the first time, basically. And so I was not allowed to watch it, but I would sneakily watch certain shows. And kind of the first ones there were Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin. And I'm a huge fan of Rurouni Kenshin. Yu Yu Hakusho I have nostalgia for, but I didn't love it quite as much. And then Sailor Moon, I really, really was not allowed to watch. And that one I absolutely couldn't get away with watching. So it would be on like while it was still dark out in the morning, and I would lay 2 inches from the TV in the dark watching it. And so Sailor Moon, I have never actually seen a whole season, I don't think. So I need to go back and like watch all of Sailor Moon, because I only got to watch episodes here and there whenever I could sneak to see it. So I think those were very formative, and I have been a lifelong anime fan. So yeah, I think those probably are good ones. 14, describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. That's really hard. One that's very obvious is Terry Pratchett characters I very frequently empathize with, but specifically Adora Belle Deerheart from the Moist von Lipwig series is, other than the smoking, is basically me. She's very like brash and rude to people and no nonsense about anything, and she cares more about the golems than about people, basically, and she is there kind of standing up for these golems. So yeah, I think that's me, but with animals for the most part. Quentin Coldwater from The Magicians, I think he is someone that I absolutely immediately connected with in that book, because I grew up reading the Chronicles of Narnia, and like his mental health struggle is very aligned with mine. So I felt an affinity for him right away, and he's so similar to a young version of me. He's basically the foundation of who I was probably at his age and going into college. So yeah, I think Quentin Coldwater is the best. And then the last one I would say is Anne Shirley from the Anne of Green Gables series. She was a character, yet another one that I read. I think I had maybe the first 5 books growing up, and I read and reread those, and just, I loved her as a character, and she has this flair for the dramatic that I definitely had as a child. And I was obsessed with getting a dress with puffy sleeves, just like Anne. So I think those characters really exemplify the different periods of my life, definitely. Let's see, what's the next one? 15, what was your dream job? So as a child, my dream job was definitely ballerina. Like, there was nothing else that I would have even thought of doing. I was very serious into ballet into my teens, and when I got adjudicated, so that's like with any performance type art, you get adjudicated if you're doing a musical instrument or theater, that sort of thing. So you have a panel of judges who tell you how good or bad you are. Basically, they critique your performance that you prepare for like a whole year. And so I got adjudicated and basically was told, you will never do this professionally. You don't have the right body type for this, and you just are not going to be able to. So that was devastating, and fortunately I moved on. I never have lost my love for ballet. Definitely, I was at that point, in my early teens, was totally in like the professional track. I was doing it 5 days a week. So like, it's hard to have that be your whole life and then kind of shift. So once I got into college, I did start college kind of early after that, and I never really found a career that I liked more than that. Basically my career choice was made for me based on the college that would give me the most scholarships, really. I had 2 completely different tracks in terms of major, depending on which college accepted me. So yeah, I just fell into IT basically because I thought it would be successful, and that's it. 16 is, if magic was real, what spell would you learn first? I think probably going back to the earlier question about travel, I would want to learn to teleport, whatever that spell is, because if you could teleport and go anywhere at any time, like I could go visit friends whenever I want, that would have come in handy many times in the past. My best friend lived in another state for a long time, and it was tough. We kept joking about when one of us was going to invent a teleporter. So yeah, I definitely would do that. Share a favorite childhood memory. So context, I don't have a lot of childhood memories. I don't know why. Obviously, like, childhood memories are not, like, they're not real, they're constructed memories, because your brain can't do that, can't store long-term memory that you would have when you're an adult, right? So So for some reason, like, I'm also a person who doesn't dream. I suspect that's all to do with information processing disorder, and I have aphantasia, so that's probably a lot to do with it, because I don't have vivid things in my head. So childhood memories are tough. I think I will go with one that I was probably like 10 or 11. It's not really young, but my cousins, my 3 male cousins, were visiting, and they're all around my age, and I had the game Pretty Pretty Princesses, which was a very popular game at the time, and more or less you had to, through the game, acquire these accoutrements, all these jewels, and your entire color set basically was what you had to get, and then you got the crown, if I recall correctly. But so I talked my 3 guy cousins into playing Pretty Pretty Princesses with me, and then our moms walked in to all of us with all of the jewelry and stuff on, and we were just goofing off, and that, you know, they didn't care, but everybody thought it was very funny. 18 is, what is your favorite social media platform and why? I mean, I have to say YouTube, because it's the only social media platform that I am on and I regularly engage with. I think that's it. Like, I'm on Facebook, but not really actively. Yeah, so I think it has to be YouTube, though I don't really like social media just in general, even though, you know, this is great, and I love BookTube, I love the BookTube community, but it also has so many bad sides. Number 19, if you could pick any book character, who would you spend the day with? Probably Mogget from Sabriel. He's this magical cat sort of creature. Yeah, I would probably want to hang out with him, because he's very mysterious. He seems like he would be good to hang out with for a day. What old person thing do you do? I'm definitely curmudgeonly, so I like to be solitary and quiet, and can be grumpy if things are not settled. Things are rambunctious. I also have knees that click when I walk down the stairs. I have terribly bad knees. I found out a couple years ago, and so yeah, they make creaky noises and clicks, and they sound like an old person knees already. Number 22, do you have a hidden talent? I don't think I have any hidden talents. I'm very mediocre at a lot of things. As a result of kind of the joint issues that I have, the underlying problem is that my joints are not really well connected. So I'm very stretchy. So that really benefited me when I was doing ballet, obviously. And so for most of my life, I've been able to do the side splits very well. So I think that's probably a hidden talent. Number 23, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't really think that far ahead or plan like that. Like, I tend to think of, like, I don't have more than today. I'm very in the moment. So I hate this question at work. I don't really prepare for there being 5 years in the future, and that's not a bad thing. I think focusing on what's momentary and what's present is actually very healthy. Share an item and tell us its significance. I can't think of an item. I've shown you all my geeky items. Hang on. All right, non-geeky item. This is perhaps ridiculous, but I made this. This is a cat scratcher for a door. So the cat scratcher is not really special or anything, but what I want to share the story of is that I really have a good connection to this, good association with it, because I made it while I was on a trip to Portland visiting my sister and her husband. And my mom and younger brother also met us there, and we went to a DIY bar, which is basically, it's a bar, but it's set up with tables, and they have pre-set projects that you can get all the materials for, and then you sit down and they have really great music and drinks, and so you just sit there and make your project. And it was really, really fun. So that was easily the highlight of the trip, despite all the cool stuff that we saw and did. It was just sitting there making these things. And so I think some people made like a wallet and a set of coasters, that sort of thing. And I made the cat scratcher. So it was just really, really fun. And as I said, the highlight of a really good trip. And that was the first time I went to PALS as well. So that was also a big moment, but I did not have sufficient time in PALS. So the DIY bar overshadowed it, I think. So I believe that is it for the tag. I should have looked up who has done this and who hasn't. So since it's Women in Translation Month right now, assuming I post this on time, I'm going to tag some women who are international booktubers, who I believe all read in other languages as well. So I'm going to tag Berna's Bookish Adventures. I'm going to tag Maya Reads and Anita Reads. So hopefully they will do the tag, and you can check out their channels if you're interested. So that is it for my tag today. Thank you all so much for watching.